A very good morning. It's Mark here on Tuesday, January the 14th, 8:10 Eastern Time, 1:10 GMT. Very interesting day yesterday, I felt. For me, a kind of different feel to the market. I did feel some apprehension in the market, and that's evidenced by particularly by the performance of the US dollar. I mean, let's have a look. Yesterday, US dollar ended with a kind of a doji, which shows uncertainty. Today, sitting at that same level around the 109.50. Buyers did test 110, were rejected, came back down to where they started before the week closed. Today, as I say, tried a little bit lower, supported 109. So between 109 and 110 is the range. But you can see here two very small bodies on our candlesticks showing a little bit of uncertainty, maybe a little bit of nervousness and a little bit of apprehension going into our very big week next week when the Republicans and Donald Trump move away from the rhetoric and the talking and the promises, and it'll be reality. And maybe the market's a little bit nervous about how that will turn out. S&P 500. Where I think we're going to see pretty much the same level of uncertainty, the way I see it. Yesterday, sellers tried to continue lower, all the way down to 5,808. Ended the day strong towards the end of the US session. Buyers did come back in and close back where it ended last week. And that's where we're heading for today as well, that 5,875 area. Buyers did try marginally higher, 5,900, but sitting pretty flat here and no clear direction, or it seems buyers and sellers pretty mixed at this point. Of course, buyers will want to retest the 5,900 and ultimately looking for that big 6,000 number, the pivotal level, and sellers will want to break below the 5,800. Gold yesterday, big sell-off, you can see that. But even though it was a big sell-off yesterday, let's just get this up here. Today, it looks like it wants to fight back, and it is still sitting very much in its comfort area, comfort zone, around the 2,669 mark. Sellers will want to break below this comfort area of 2,663. Previous resistance, you can see previous resistance, it is a relevant level. Sellers will want to break below here and try to get back to the low 2,600, 2,620, 2,625. We've got support at 2,615. That'll be the goal for sellers, and to go lower than yesterday's low. Buyers going to look to break above this intraday resistance at 2,673 and back up to testing the highs just under 2,700. This could well depend on the direction of the US dollar, and we'll watch to see whether there is demand in this area at this level. There has been in the past, and whether buyers can get back up there and continue this very, very strong uptrend that we've been part of. Oil. Let's go to Brent. Bear in mind, it's sitting at really high levels now, sitting at the over 80, 80.45 is where it's sitting. But to start the week yesterday, we had this big gap up based on supply issues and nervousness. All of a sudden, it went and opened up to start the new week at 81.29. Came back down yesterday, tested lower, but then came back to close at those high levels, not far away from where it opened at 80.91, just under the 81 level. Today, carrying on that sell-off, lower highs, lower lows so far to start the day, and that support at just above the $80 level. Sellers will want to continue with that sell-off and break below the $80 mark, whereas buyers are going to look to retake $81 on the upside. The trend is strong, very strong, sitting up there. And as high as it is, if we just scroll out like I'm doing now and going back to middle of last year, we can see 87 as a high. Go back a little bit higher, we see 90, meaning there is a long way to go still on the upside should we have supply issues and demand at these high prices. But for now, looks like it's comfortable sitting just above this between $80 and $81 for the time being. Bitcoin, another very interesting performance yesterday. To start, we saw after the weekend, we saw Bitcoin sell off and break a very significant support area around $91, $91 and $92,000. It broke below there kind of significantly. There is 89,400, the support established yesterday. But during the US session, as we've seen so many times, and as we've seen with Bitcoin buyers, there is demand within this area. It came in a little bit later than usual. Usually it's around that 91,000, as I say, all the way down to 89.5, but they did step in all the way back up to where it started. You see 3 daily candles, kind of dojis, not real dojis, but very small bodies, meaning a very narrow range between the open and the close, back where they started for a few days, carried on yesterday. Today, buyers have stepped up at that 94,500 level where it closed yesterday. We've already seen a high of 97,225. Buyers are in control to start the day. They're going to look to retest that 97 back up to the 100,000, the big 100,000 K level. That's what buyers will be aiming for. Sellers are going to look to test the open price and the support here at 94,500 to see if it can come down, if sellers can break that 90,000 area again. Good trading, guys. Keep that discipline. I will see you at the end of day session.